Ready, Mary?
Yep.
In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Maverick Michael Dockstader, file number 2021-20292FH. This is the date and time scheduled for probation violation arraignment. Mr. Dockstader was provided notice to appear today on the show cause. He has failed to appear. So does he have any outstanding monies owed?
The judge owes all $1,008.
$1,008. I will issue a bench warrant for his arrest. And I will set bond in the amount of $1,008 cash. In the matter of Jeremy Vasquez, or the people of the state of Michigan versus Jeremy Enrique Vasquez. Is the time set for arraignment on a request and summons for probation violation. Mr. Vasquez was given notice to appear today. He's failed to do so. I will issue a bench warrant for his arrest for failure to appear. What does he owe?
Same amount, Judge. 1008.
Set bond in the amount of $1,008 cash. Good morning. This is Judge Anzalone. How are you today?
Good morning, Your Honor. Not too bad. You doing okay?
I am. So I am ready for Michael Allison.
Okay.
And I think that's the only one I need right now.
All righty, ma'am. We will get Mr. Allison.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Mr. Glazier, I just called for them to bring in Mr. Allison.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Murphy. Does anybody in here have Mr. Murphy as an attorney? No? All right.
Your Honor, I have Jacob Kelly and Jalen Tatum from the jail.
All right, I'll call and get them lined up.
And I do have Nicholas Schmidt here at the office, but he's using the restroom right now, so I can get him seen.
Yes, ma'am.
I am also, Mr. Murphy just showed up. Who did you have, Mr. Murphy, at Jalen Tatum and who? Mr. Murphy, you're muted.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. It's Jacob Kelly, I think it was.
Okay.
Mr. Kelly.
So Mr. Murphy's here, so I'm also ready for Jalen Tatum and Jacob Kelly.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm sorry, Mr. Murphy. I thought Miss Underwood had Mr. Kelly. So let me change that. And you have who in your office?
It's Nicholas Schmidt.
Okay, all right. Sir, are you here for a case today?
Pre-trial conference, yes.
What's your name?
Germa.
Spell your last name.
Germey.
Jermey.
Correct.
And who's your attorney?
Mrs. Underwood.
Miss Underwood, okay. All right, I have a gentleman joining me from the Michigan Department of Corrections, I think. Sir, what is your name?
Mario Armor.
Hold on, I'll get there. Mario Armor, Armour. So I'm going to change your screen name, and Miss Underwood is your attorney. And she is in the court next door right now. And so I'm going to mark your name on the screen, and then I'm going to put you in the waiting room, and it'll be about 10 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Are you ready for him to be brought down?
Hey, I'm also Miss Aldrich, we're ready on her.
Okay, okay. So you can let them know to bring him down.
It's gonna be a plea.
Okay. All right. And bring her up to the podium. Great. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Sheila Marie Aldrich, file number 2024-21729FH. I have Salvatore Milaro appearing on behalf of Ms. Aldrich, and I have Amanda Wagner appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for a pretrial conference. Mr. Milaro, you stated you believe there was going to be a plea today. Would you like to place that on the record?
Judge, it's on Mr. Leatherwood, not Miss Aldrich.
Oh, okay. So this is the date and time set for pretrial. How would you like to proceed today, Mr. Milaro?
I'm gonna ask for an additional pretrial. I'm still working towards resolution. She has an unrelated matter downstairs, but I'd like to get them all resolved together.
Okay, how far out?
I think 30 days should be fine.
About May 15 at 8:30.
That's fine.
Miss Adams, Miss Aldrich is present. Could I get a notice of hearing for her?
Yes, Judge.
All right, so I'll set this for pretrial on May 15 at 8:30 in the morning. And Miss Aldrich, if you want to just have a seat behind there on that bench back there, just right behind Jeff. We'll bring you a notice of hearing, just right there. Yep.
Judge, I'd rather
Okay,
given the next case.
okay. Go have a seat in the front row. And then we'll bring you a notice of hearing. All right.
Same way you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. One.
And is this Mr. Leatherwood?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Leatherwood, he is second one on arraignments. All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Milo Leatherwood, file number 2024-21751FH. I have Salvatore Milaro appearing on behalf of Mr. Leatherwood, who is present in person, the lady over here in the front on the left. And I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for arraignment in this matter. Was he taken for fingerprints this morning? Okay, excellent. So we do have a TCN now. So Mr. Milaro, how would you like to proceed on behalf of Mr. Leatherwood?
Your Honor, at this point in time, we would acknowledge receive the information, waive its reading in open court, waive any defects at the time and place of service. And we would acknowledge receive the witness list. Mr. Leatherwood, as I understand, intends plea no contest to count one, assault of a prison employee. Habitual offender, fourth notice would be dismissed. That is what I think will happen this morning.
All right, is that a correct recitation of the plea, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right, so, Mr. Leatherwood, do you want to raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Milaro, he speaks loudly, so that's good. You can put your hand down, but move the microphone there just for recording purposes. So, Mr. Leatherwood, you have heard the statement of your attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty as charged to count one, assault of a plead no contest to count one, assault of a prison employee, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison, with your habitual offender fourth offense notice being dismissed? So is it your intention to plead no contest? Okay. Are you satisfied with Mr. Milaro as your attorney and the advice that is given?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And neither the prosecutor, the defendant, or anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Mr. Malaro?
That's correct, Judge.
Mr. Sneed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that correct as far as you're aware, Mr. Leatherwood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If a guilty plea is accepted, though, if a no contest plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at a trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial, not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable had you been convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, ma'am.
So, sir, and your response would either be no contest or not guilty, okay?
Yes.
All right, how do you plead to the charge that on or about July 19th of 2023 in Madison Township in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of assault of a prison employee?
I plead no contest.
All right. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead no contest to this charge?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead no contest? Mr. Malaro?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Steen?
No, Your Honor.
Has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be?
No, ma'am.
Is it your own choice to plead no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you placing the factual basis on the record, or is Mr. Steen?
You can do it, Judge.
All right, any objection, Mr. Malaro doing it, Mr. Steen?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
You ready? Judge, we believe that the state would be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about July 19th, 2023 in Madison Townships, County of Lenawee, State of Michigan, that Mr. Leatherwood, who was in a place of confinement, namely Gus Harrison Correctional Facility, and was lawfully in that place of confinement, did assault a Theron Boykin, an employee of that place of confinement, namely the Gus Harrison Correctional Facility, knowing that, and that Mr. Leatherwood knew that that person was an employee of the Gus Harrison Correctional Facility, and that he did so by commit the assault by striking Mr. Boykin without provocation. I think that the state would be able to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt.
Mr. Sneed, any additions?
I just would add that the assault occurred while he was serving a term of imprisonment at Gus Harrison. With that, I'm satisfied, Judge. Thank you.
All right. So based on the facts placed on the record and from the information contained in the police report as stated by Mr. Malaro, the court finds beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about July 19th of 2023 in Madison Township in the county of Lenawee at the Gus Harrison facility, the defendant was lawfully incarcerated and serving a term of incarceration and did commit the offense of assault of a prison employee by striking Theron Boykin, who was an employee at the Michigan Department of Corrections facility, and without provocation. Therefore, the court accepts the no contest plea. Has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Mr. Malaro?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Steen?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
I accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights and he does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of either of them. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. Where are you currently at?
I don't even imagine person soon.
All right, so my sentencing date is May 23rd at 8:15 in the morning. So Mr. Leatherwood, I would ask, you have the right to be present in person, okay?
Okay.
But you can also choose to be present via Zoom. I leave that up to you. So do you want to Zoom in for sentencing or do you want to be brought in person?
Wrong person.
Okay, so I will mark in person. Now, someone will get a packet to you and from the Michigan Department, one of our probation officers, and they'll have a packet for you to fill out and they'll get some information from you. Understand, be truthful about your background, but because you pled no contest, you don't have to make a statement at all about the events that occurred, okay? And we'll provide that to Mr. Malaro. They're really good about trying to get into MDOC to visit with people via Zoom or not, but sometimes there's a lot of people trying to get into MDOC and they can't get in to talk to you. If he can't talk to you in advance, he'll have ample time in the morning to speak with you before sentencing, all right? All right, we will see you back on May 15 or May 23rd at 8:15. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Aldrich, you got your notice? All right, you're all set. You can go. Thank you. All right. Mr. Allison, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Glazier? Are you ready to proceed on Allison?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay,
I need to speak with Mr. Allison, though, Your Honor.
okay, so I'm gonna open a I'm gonna open a breakout room
All right.
really quick, and I'm gonna put you guys in it. And let me see here. Then I'm going to run back to my inhaler because my allergies are starting up really early this year. No, I don't like it. Mr. Allison is in jail room 2. Glazier. All right, I've opened that breakout room.
All right.
I'll be back. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
How are you, Doug?
How you doing, Eric?
Hi, Sam. How are you?
Good.
Hiding back here in this little corner.
Saw ya.
Are you still with the Cambridge too?
Huh?
You still with the Cambridge?
Yeah.
How many more do you
Like 25.
Oh, wow. Do you can do transcripts,
Yeah.
get?
How much? Can I have your number?
Why? Who do you want one for?
I need,
Usually the
I need a
girls.
transcript of the hearing that Doug's trying to screw me over on.
Oh, usually the girls put them out.
As usual. Well, I just need it done right away.
Ah. Yeah, you better check with the girls because
Well,
they're
hey.
like that is their bread and butter.
I need it done. I need it done.
How long is it?
Couple hours. I only need really one person.
That's interesting.
I just need one person. Doug had him up there for about 90 minutes.
Oh, you just want the test,
Yeah.
it's one straight, one
The drug
testimony of
dealer.
one person?
He had the drug dealer up there for about 90 minutes so far.
Was it that long? I
Seems
don't think it was that long.
Seemed like it was that long.
I thought it was more like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, if the girls ask or holler, I
I have the disc.
can check. Did you ask Joanne yet?
It's downstairs. It's
District court.
Oh,
a district court. We're still in the middle of it.
So it'd be Carol.
oh, yeah,
Carol. She's busy. So I gotta Carol first. Is what you know.
That's what I'm telling you.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't step on anybody's toes.
All right.
And I haven't typed one in forever.
It's okay. All right, fine, Mary.
She said I had to steal my laptop back from my kid.
He's being rejected.
Yeah, those guys are.
Less years in prison. No, completely.
All rise.
All right, so, Mr. Malaro.
Yes, Judge.
Check. So I have a young man in jail room number 3. What's your name, sir?
Mr. Jalen Tatum, Jalen Tatum.
Okay.
What's his name?
Hold on.
Tatum.
Jalen Tatum.
Your Honor, could I have a breakout, Mr. Tatum?
Yep, I'm just getting this file. Hold on. All right, Mr. Tatum, I am going to open up a breakout room for you and Mr. Tatum. So hold on. We're gonna go off the record right now.
Switch.
Thank you. Did you get your tattoo done?
I did,
Okay, good.
yeah, on shoulder and.
That one on your shoulder and your leg, awesome.
Sounds like fun.
Thanks, Mary.
You're welcome. Hi, you're welcome. You guys have a fun day.
We will.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, Mary.
I got everybody. Rhonda, you're here. You snuck in on me. Hold on. I've got a bunch of people for you. Your attorney's Rhonda?
Correct.
Why don't you come on up? What's your name again? It's you. Miss Underwood, are you there? You just stand right in front of that podium, all right?
Podium.
All right. Rhonda, I have Mr. Germa. You call it, it's Germa, right?
Correct.
Okay, good. I always like to pronounce names right. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Danny Lee Germa, file number 24-21674 FH. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Germa, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. So, Ms. Underwood, this is the date and time set for a pre-trial conference. How would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, we are having discussions regarding these issues, and I believe the prosecutor is looking at them. So I would ask for a brief adjournment, Your Honor.
All right, my next available pretrial is, let's go May 15 at 8:30 in the morning.
May 15th, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am. And Miss Adams, once again, Mr. Germa is here, so could we get him a notice of hearing? So I'm gonna set this for May 15 at 8:30 in the morning. Now, Ms. Underwood and Mr. Germa, if a resolution is reached, I would ask that you just bring them in on a day that's not Wednesday. I can move that up, okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So, sir, have a seat right behind you there at the end of the bench, and my staff will bring in a notice of hearing. All right, Ms. Underwood, I have Mario Armour from the Michigan Department of Corrections.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could I have a breakout with Mr. Armour?
Sure. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Mario Cornelius Armour, file number 23-21339FH. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Armour, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for a pretrial. Mr. Armour, your attorney has asked for an opportunity to speak with you. So I am going to put you and her into a breakout room. Let me find a breakout room to put you in. And you should be getting an invitation to join. I think you already went. Okay. So now we are back with Mr. Tatum, which is Mr. Murphy's. Right here again. So we are on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jalen Jamal Tatum. Two files, 24-21710FH and 24-21711FH. I have Matthew Murphy. Well, I have, Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Tatum and Amanda Wagner appearing on behalf of the people. So, Mr. Murphy, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, there has been a plea offer made by Ms. Wagner in this matter for Mr. Tatum to plead in file 24-21711FH. It would be as charged, the aggravated indecent exposure. I don't think I can't see I don't have the indictment in front of me, but I don't think there's any habituals on there or anything. But from my understanding, there wouldn't be anything any habituals. Now in the other file in 24-21710. Mr. Tatum would plead to larceny under 200, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So an added count, hold on, slow down. So an added count 3, larceny under 200?
Yes, Your Honor, with count 1 and count 2 being dismissed. And that would be an agreement for Mr. Tatum to have no more jail at sentencing.
Is he availing himself of the plea bargain?
And yes, Your Honor, he is going to avail himself of the plea offer today.
Okay, so let me make the notes. All right, Mr. Tatum, you want to raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, can you state your full name for me on the record?
Jalen Jamal Tatum.
All right, thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Now, you have heard the statement of your attorney. Is it your intention on file number 24-21710FH to plead guilty to count 3, larceny less than $200, and that is a 93-day misdemeanor, correct?
Yes,
so is it your intention to plead guilty to that added count, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then is it on file number 24-21711FH, your intention to plead as charged to count 1, aggravated indecent exposure, which is a high court misdemeanor that carries a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison and a $2,000 fine. Okay, so I guess I would ask, there is a notice regarding SORA. Does that apply to him or no? I don't think it does.
I don't think it applies because I didn't think the victim was a minor.
That's
and then
correct.
tier 2, and I don't see that he has no prior offenses, right?
No, Your Honor.
Correct.
All right. So Mr. Tatum, that carries up to 2 years. There is a notice on there for sex offender registration, but from the information I have, that does not apply to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So it's your intention to plead guilty to that as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Are you satisfied with Mr. Murphy as your attorney and the advice that he's given you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And neither the prosecutor, the defendant, nor anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed any possible sentence other than there would be no further jail at the time of sentencing. Is that correct, Mr. Murphy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes, Judge.
And Mr. Tatum, is that correct as far as you're aware?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. If a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial, not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Sir, do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you had been convicted at trial? Do you understand that, Mr. Tatum?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you, Mr. Tatum?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do have questions or you don't?
No, I don't.
Okay. So, Mr. Tatum, how do you wish to plead to the charge on file number 24-21710FH that on or about January 14th of 2024 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense listed and added under count 3 of larceny less than 200, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right. And Mr. Tatum, on file number 24-21711FH, how do you plead to the charge that on or about January 14th of 2024 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee that you did commit the offense of aggravated indecent exposure? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to these charges?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand if I accept these pleas, you'll be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Mr. Murphy?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Wagner?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so other than no more jail at the time of sentencing, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be in terms of probation, fines and costs, etc.?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty to these charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Tatum, we're going to start with file number 24-21710FH. So, Mr. Tatum, on January 14th of 2024, were you in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and at that time, did you steal a donation box that had less than $200 in it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and where was that at?
Musgrove Coffee Shop.
Musgrove and Company Coffee Shop? All right,
Yes, Your Honor.
did you have any, and it was on the counter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and did you have any right to take that box?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
All right, and when you took it, your intent was to deprive whoever would have received that money of that money, correct?
Yes, it was cat donation, Your Honor.
Yep, and for cat donations, okay. And for purposes of the plea, was there less than $200 in that box?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and for purposes of restitution, you understand there might be more than that, but we don't know at this point.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, are you satisfied on that file, Ms. Wagner?
I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. All right, then let's move on to file number 24-21711FH. So Mr. Tatum, on January 14th of 2024, were you in the city of Adrian in the county of Leatherwood?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and at that time, were you in a public place? This is the indecent exposure one. So were you in a place where there was more than one person? There was someone other than you present, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you would agree it would be a public place?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and did you expose your genitalia to someone in public?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and did you touch your genitalia when you exposed yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Wagner, are you satisfied?
Your Honor, if I could just briefly, Mr. Tatum, you knew that you were exposing your genitalia at that time, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
and for the purpose of it being an aggravated indecent exposure, you were actually fondling your genitalia, is that true?
Yes, Ms. Wagner.
Okay, I'm satisfied, Judge, thank you.
All right, has court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Ms. Wagner?
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask though, do we need to put on the record where this took place? I don't know if we put the venue on.
I did say city of Adrian in the county of Leatherwood in a public place where there was more than one person. I mean, I don't know where. Was it Musgrove Coffee Shop too? I don't know.
This was at Pathways on West Maumee Street.
Okay, all right. So has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Mr. Murphy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, so I accept both pleas. They've been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. He does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of either of them. There is a Killebrew agreement regarding sentencing. So he was arraigned on January, well, it looks like he's been in custody since January 14. One of these is a 90-day misdemeanor. The other is going to have extremely low guidelines. Is there any discussion regarding bond today? Or?
Well, Your Honor, I guess we'll leave it. I mean, my anticipation was that Your Honor would not release him because of the prosecution, I think, would object to a PR bond. The concern, I think, was that Mr. Tatum, this offense occurred within a day or two of him being released on a previous case. And so I didn't know if there was, the prosecution had expressed a concern about a risk of possibly reoffending before sentencing date occurred. That was a concern I would have as well. But, in regards to Mr. Tatum, I don't believe he's a flight risk. The only concern is he has been homeless, which has resulted in some trespassing charges. So that would be the only concern.
Well, he's going to be homeless when he gets released at sentencing. So, Ms. Wagner, he's now pled.
Right, Your Honor. I mean, my agreement with Mr. Murphy was that we would not be giving him a PR bond today, and the agreement was that upon sentence there'd be
okay. That part of the agreement was not placed on the record, so I didn't realize he wasn't going to be released today. I'm sorry, that wasn't placed on the record.
Okay. Well, there was no further jail upon sentencing.
Well, I guess, I mean,
so you oppose, I guess, well, hold on, Mr. Murphy. So Ms. Wagner, you would oppose him being released today? I'm using up my probation possibilities if I keep him in jail.
Again, I just wanted to make sure, clarify, I mean, there wasn't an agreement that he would not be able to get a PR bond. It was just, obviously, Ms. Wagner was going to object to it. I wasn't anticipating asking for one, but since the court was asking if I wanted to argue for one, yes, of course, I would argue for a PR bond on my client, because I don't think he's a risk to society. I think he pled guilty. He accepted responsibility. I don't believe it's a flight risk. I did want to express to the court, obviously, he doesn't have an address, so he would be trying to find, possibly at the shelter, but I believe he's been trespassed.
I heard you say all that, so I just wanted to go back to Ms. Wagner, because on the one file, he'd be maxed out. There'd be no probation if I keep him in jail.
I understand that for the larceny charge, Judge.
So you oppose him being released today on a bond?
I think it's appropriate to hold him until sentencing. I mean, he's going to get probation on the aggravated indecent exposure.
Right.
right?
I would just have him on pretrial services anyway, so he'd be monitored.
If he's released today, you mean?
Yeah, he'd be on pretrial services.
I mean, Judge, Mr. Murphy is exactly right in what he expressed. The concern was Mr. Tatum picking up additional charges before sentencing, which, you know, that's how he wound up with these 2 pending felonies. But since the court is well aware of all of that, if you see fit to release him today, then I won't object any further, I guess.
Mr. Tatum, where would you go if I released you today?
More than likely, I would probably go to Shredder Wharf or Neighbors of Hope. The Neighbors of Hope off of Bent Oak Street.
All right, you don't have any family members you can stay with?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right, so I'll continue his bond then, and I'm going to set sentencing in this matter for May 23rd at 8:15 in the morning. So, Mr. Tatum, someone from the Michigan Department of Corrections is going to come talk to you. We'll have you fill out a packet, and they'll do an interview. Be truthful about your background, be truthful about the events that occurred, and then we'll see you back on May 23rd at 8:15 in the morning. Do you want to appear in person, or do you want to appear via Zoom like you are today?
I'll do it in person.
Okay, so understand, and that's fine. We'll do in person, and then they'll have to transport you back to the jail before you get released that day. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you back on May 23rd at 8:15 in the morning in person. Thank you, Mr. Tatum.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tatum. I'll come
Thank you,
visit
Mr.
you and get
Murphy.
that letter, okay?
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. All right, Miss Underwood, are you anticipating a plea on Mr. Armour?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna skip to Mr. Armour only because he's been here since like 8 o'clock and I'm sure MDOC would appreciate that. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Mario Cornelius Armour, file number 23-21339FH. Mr. Glazier, do you anticipate a plea on Mr. Allison?
No, Your Honor.
No? Okay. So let me skip over to that. In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Michael Lee Allison, file number 22-20996FC. I have John Glazier appearing on behalf of Mr. Allison, and I have Douglas Hartung appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for a pretrial conference. Mr. Glazier, you were afforded an opportunity to speak with your client in Zoom. So how would you like to proceed today, Mr. Allison? On behalf of Mr. Allison.
Your Honor, this matter is set for trial in September with a final pretrial on August 27th. There's been, we haven't really come to much of a movement on this, and we're going to leave it set for trial. But I would ask to have perhaps a Cobb's hearing or whatever you call it. I know you have those set up with
conference.
The Cobb's conference within the next couple of weeks. I'd like to see where we can get with that. The other thing is Mr. Allison's thinking about hiring Mr. Daly, and he does have the ability to do that, I believe. So that could be another issue. And I've told him if he's going to do that, he should do it quick so that Mr. Daly can get properly prepared. And if he doesn't, maybe we can resolve it at this Cobb's conference.
Okay, Miss Adams. I couldn't find my notice. All right, never mind, Miss Adams. All right, I also, and that's fine. I also want to address that I received a letter directly from Mr. Allison.
Okay.
And it's dated March 4. of 2024. Mr. Glazier, he is just asking that he have an opportunity to meet with you at the jail. Have you
Oh.
met with them?
Your Honor, that was the other thing. When we have this Cobb's conference, I would prefer to have him in person and me in person.
Okay, so Miss Adams, I'm looking for a cops conference, not on a Wednesday. And I'll need Mr. Hartung and Mr. Glazier.
We need it before a certain time, Judge, or?
Oh, probably next month, because I'll be out of town for a while. So within the next 30 days. I need probably about, Mr. Glazier is a talker, so about an hour.
Oh, come on. I don't know about being a talker. Now
Take
my
me
wife,
anytime.
now my wife will talk. She's got a mouth that never stops. It just goes and goes. But I'm pretty
I
quiet.
hope she's watching this.
No, she doesn't watch this. I hope.
What about 3:30, May 7th or May 10th?
What time?
3:30 p.m.
That'd be good. Might take a little longer though. I don't know if you want to put it that late.
So probably, Miss Adams, can I see the book? You can just bring me the book. I think 3:30, the jail probably won't want to transport that late because of dinner. I can do, all right, so I can do 11 o'clock next Tuesday. I can do, yeah, I can do an hour at 11 next Tuesday. Or I could do 9 o'clock next Tuesday
9 o'clock would be better, Your Honor.
on April 16.
Yep.
And what about you, Mr. Hartung?
I can do that.
All right, so I'm gonna set this over for April 16 for a bench conference / pretrial conference. Ms. Adams, because we're gonna have him brought in person from the jail, can we do that notice?
Sure.
That way the jail gets paperwork from you and they know he's gotta come in person. All right, so we'll do the notice for that. So April 16th at 9 a.m. Or did we say 11? 11.
9.
No, you
9
said-
a.m. 9 a.m. April 16th. And Mr. Allison, you'll be brought over. And so you'll have an hour even more. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So your bonds continue. We'll see you back on that day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Tatum's done. Thank you, Mr. Hartime. You're not on Armstrong, right?
No.
Okay. So, Mr. Armour, we are back to you. So, the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Mario Cornelius Armour. So, Ms. Underwood, you said that you anticipate a plea with your client today?
No, I didn't say that, Your Honor. We are looking at options, Your Honor, and we're also considering a independent in this matter. So we would ask probably for another pretrial, maybe June.
Okay. Well, I could do June 5 or June 26.
June 5 is fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Armour, I'm going to set a pretrial for June 5 at 8:30 in the morning. And Mr. Sneed, your office will do the writ, and then, you'll do the notice of hearing, the stiffen order, Miss Underwood, Mr. Sneed, can she sign your name with permission?
Yes,
Your
please.
Honor, can I appear in person?
Yes, where are you at?
I'm at Marquette Branch Prison right now.
You can't appear in person. Our hearings are at 8:30 in the morning, so they'll ride you out like at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I would like to appear in person from here on out.
Okay, I'm gonna put down in person. And Miss Underwood, you want me to set it for, hold on. Let's see, June 5, what does that look like? Hold on. Miss Underwood, I am going to set that for 10 a.m. All right, Miss Underwood?
That's good thinking, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna do June 5 at 10 a.m. That way they have time to ride here and then back. So, all right, Mr. Armour, we'll see you back in June, all right?
All right, y'all have a good day.
You have a good day too, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna take Mr. Wolhuis. He's been here since 8 o'clock, Miss Underwood.
Thank you.
All right, hold on. Mr. Wolhuis, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I have a young man that just came into jail Zoom 2. What's your name?
Jacob Kelly.
Name.
All right, and
Your Honor,
Is
that's
that you?
my
do you
client.
need a breakout room while I take care of Mr. Wolhuis?
Please, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Okay. Jail Zoom 2 and Mr.
No,
Murphy. Go
Mr. Wolhuis is mine, Your Honor. I think Mr. Murphy was talking about his client in jail.
Right. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, I opened up the breakout room for Mr. Murphy and his client. I might have said something different. Anyway, Mr. Wolhuis, all right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Stephen Richard Wolhuis, file number 24-21734FH. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Wolhuis, who has joined us via Zoom. And I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for pretrial. And Miss Underwood, how would you like to proceed today?
Yes, I've spoken with Mr. Sneed and Mr. Wolhuis, and we're still having discussions, Your Honor. I think a pretrial on either May 15th or June 5th would be in order in this matter, Your Honor.
And I'm sorry, I do have your name phonetically, Wolhuis, so I do have it in the file. I'm sorry, I said it before I looked. Okay. I can do June 5 at 8:30 in the morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Wolhuis, we will set this for a pretrial conference on June 5 at 8:30 in the morning. Miss Underwood, you do the step in order to adjourn?
I will do that with Mr. Sneed's permission.
Excellent. Thank you. You are all set. So is that your, who, do one of you have a case today? What's his name? Okay, all right. And who's his attorney? Is that you? Let me look it up. Michael, okay.
Did I hear?
Mr. Regalado just went to the restroom, Mr. Degemargosian, so. All right, I got Timothy Faiy. That's Michael's, so let me bring him in. I think he called in on 2 devices. Is there someone? What are we waiting on?
Wait on Mr. Armstrong.
Okay, okay. And David's on those 2, right?
Mr. Sneed, Mr. McCready, myself, and Mr. Goldstein.
Miss Adams, can you call for Mr. Goldstein? Or is he in the other court? I don't know.
Check.
Mr. Wolhuis, I'm gonna send you on your merry way. Sometimes
I'm sorry
it's easy to
about
get
that.
in.
I miscommunicated. I missed something. I'm sorry about that.
All right, did you hear when your next date is?
On June the 15th, I didn't know if there was supposed to be communication with the attorney yet. I appreciate.
No, it's not June 15, it's June 5. June 5 at 8:30 in the morning.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna send you on your way. Okay. Mr. Faiy is not connecting, so hold on. So I'm gonna send Chad's to both Timothy's. Send them to that one. And see. Mr. Regalado, if you want to just.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, you can come up here to the podium if you want. So I am ready for Nicholas Christie and Darius Collins. And then I'm not ready for Mr. Armstrong yet, so Dave Goldstein, so.
Okay, ma'am, let me put Mr. Christie and Mr. Collins in the room for you, and we'll go from there.
Awesome, thank you.
Of course.
Bye. All right, Mr. Regalado, let me get your file. All right, this is yours, Mr. Dagger-Margosian?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Mark Shane Regalado, file number 2024-21763FH. I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people and Michael Dagger-Margosian appearing on behalf of Mr. Regalado. Mr. Regalado is here for his first pretrial, I believe, and Miss Adams, he's here in person, so we'll need a notice of hearing. Mr. Dagger-Margosian, how do you wish to proceed today with Mr. Regalado?
Your Honor, we waived the preliminary exam in district in anticipation that Mr. Regalado will be entering a plea. Today, I can outline the plea for the court now.
Is he going to be pleading today or no?
My understanding is that he is, but I want to just confirm with Mr. Regalado that that's the plan.
Okay, so what is the plea offer?
So the plea offer, Your Honor, on this case is it will be plead as charged with no subs. And in addition, Mr. Regalado has 2 misdemeanor cases, separate files that will be dismissed pursuant to that as well.
Any sentencing agreement?
No sentencing agreement. I will note for the court that at this point, the alleged items that were taken were recovered, so there wouldn't be any restitution, but nothing regarding the sentence.
So, Mr. Regalado, the plea offer is that you would plead as charged to count 1, retail fraud first degree, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison and or a $10,000 fine. Your attorney doesn't believe there is any restitution, okay, because he believes the items were recovered. You do have a habitual offender 4th offense notice, which means if you were convicted at trial, you would be facing life in prison or a minimum of 25 years. Do you understand that? That would be dismissed. And then you have a couple misdemeanors in district court that would be dismissed as well. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And is that the plea, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Regalado, your attorney wants to know then, do you wish to accept the plea offer?
I didn't know.
Yeah, speak up to the microphone.
Yes, I didn't, Your Honor, I didn't know. I went over it with him, but I didn't know that I was coming up here to take a plea. He just waved, told me to waive.
No, he's asking you, do you want to take a plea today?
Is there any way I can time to talk to my wife, maybe a week or something?
Sure.
And then.
Mr. No, it's fine. Mr. Dagger-Margosian, he's asking for a brief adjournment. Or do you want to go in the hallway and talk to your wife? I'll give you any opportunity you need.
So I mean, maybe a little bit, and then Your Honor, like a week, because I have a family and stuff, and I just, I don't know what's gonna happen, I just.
Okay, so Mr. Dagmar-Gosian, I'm going to set this out to May 15 at 8:30 in the morning. We will do the notice because he's here and I want to give him a notice to take with him. So Mr. Regalado, I'm going to set this out to May 15 at 8:30 in the morning. And I'm going to waive the reading of the information, correct, Mr. Dagmar-Gosian?
Yes, Your Honor. And just for the record, I have gone over the issues with Mr. Regalado, but obviously I'm happy to go over it with him again.
Well, I think he said that. He just wants to talk to his family. All right, so Ms. Adams, could I get a notice of hearing from Mr. Regalado for May 15 at 8:30 in the morning? Mr. Dagmar-Gosian, if you have discussions with Mr. Regalado and he decides he wants to avail himself of the plea, we'll bring him in any time of the day other than a Wednesday even, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Regalado, have a seat behind you on that bench, and then we'll get you a notice of hearing, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, so, Mr. Faiy, can you
Your Honor.
hear me now?
Your Honor, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes, Your Honor.
On Mr. Regalado, is there a way to get could we get the pretrial before April 25th? That's his date on the misdemeanors, and if we are going to resolve it, it would take care of those as well.
Do April 24 at 8:30 in the morning.
Thank you.
Miss Adams, I'm sorry, I'm going to change that to April 24.
Okay.
I'm sorry. All right, so it'll be April 24 and we'll get you a notice, Mr. Regalado. Okay, so, Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins, who's your attorney?
Underwood. Sorry.
Rhonda Underwood. It's okay, it's okay. Hold on a minute. All right, and then I have Mr. Kelly. And then Mr. Dagmar-Gosian, you have Mr. Faiy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Faiy, are you logged in on 2 devices or just one?
Just one.
Okay, because I have another Timothy then. Okay. Who's not connected to audio. So I don't even know. Okay. I'm gonna send them a chat, pop them in the waiting room. All right, so I'm gonna skip. Do you need a breakout room with Mr. Faiy, Mr. Dagmar-Gosian while I take another case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and then Miss Underwood, you are on Mr. Collins. Do you need a breakout with him?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, and then I'll take Kelly next. Okay, so Mr. Collins, I'm going to assign you and Rhonda Underwood to a breakout room.
Okay.
While I take care of another matter. Are you a family member, ma'am? Or his mom? And I just want you to know, Mr. Collins, your mom is here today. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Regalado, there's your notice of hearing, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice day.
You too. All right, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jacob Dean Kelly, file number 23-21287FH. I am Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Kelly. And there we go, Mr. Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for pretrial. So, Mr. Murphy, how do you wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, Mr. Kelly, he does have a pending case down in district court, a new case. I was going to ask for this case to be adjourned, possibly, 30 days or whatever fits the court schedule best. I think Mr. Kelly, we're going to have him screened for drug court. I did want to ask the court, though, if we could address bond to see if a reduction in bond is possible.
Okay, so I can do May 15 or May 22nd, May 15 or 22.
Could we do May 15th, Your Honor? I think this case will be resolved. I just need to, communicate with the prosecutors more. There was obviously a period of time in which the case was not being worked.
Okay, so. Okay, so I will say that I have a letter in my file from May 31 of 2023 stating that we were holding a bench warrant for his arrest. He had tested positive for meth on May 6 of 23 and then missed test. He continued to miss tests, and it looks like we did not see him again for like a year. So you can address bond.
Your Honor, Mr. Kelly, obviously, you court explained the situation. Mr. Kelly was out on bond and he failed to appear. He didn't test. Mr. Kelly, he does admit he has an issue that is what's driving the situation. Now, the reason why I asked the court to consider reduction in bond, not a PR bond, but a reduction in bond, a possible reduction in postable bond, is that Mr. Kelly's employer has been in constant contact with my office. He went up to the jail, I believe yesterday, to try to post the bond that was assessed on Mr. Kelly's current case, or case that was down in district court, not realizing that there is a larger bond, the $50,000 bond on the case currently. I don't believe that Mr.
What's the bond on my file?
I thought it was $50,000, Your Honor. Now, I was asking the court to reduce it, maybe to 10,000 or 5,000. Obviously 5,000 would be my main request. I do believe, given the situation, again, Mr. Kelly, I don't believe it's a flight risk moving forward. I understand the situation. I know there's a presumption now. He didn't turn himself in. So he's not, granted that presumption of not being a flight risk. I do understand the situation. But I think because
he did or he didn't turn himself in?
He did not turn himself in, so he has no presumption of being not a flight risk. I understand that it's actually the reverse, that because he had to be obtained, there's probably a presumption that he would flee. But I think because of the situation, again, he wants to address this main problem that he has that's driving the criminal behavior. He wants to address his substance abuse issue, and he has an employer that has been communicating how valuable Mr. Kelly is to him. Mr. Kelly has very strong ties to the community at this point. He was arrested. Obviously, he didn't try to flee the jurisdiction or anything. I'm not saying his decisions were correct or anything to that effect, but I'm asking the court again to consider a reduction in bond that would probably be posted by his employer because of the value that Mr. Kelly's employer has. That the value.
What's his new charge, Mr. Murphy?
It's possession of methamphetamine and just obstructing based upon a traffic stop for a burnt out headlight. And it was Mr. Kelly's employer whose vehicle he was in.
What was the date of that offense, Mr. Murphy?
That's April 4th, Your Honor, was when the arraignment occurred. So it would have been April 3rd, I guess.
So he has new meth charges while he was on bond for my charge and absconding.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Mr. Sneed, I will tell you, if he gets into drug court, he's going to end up going to a long-term rehab. So, but
yes,
because of these events, more than likely, that's what's going to happen. But Mr. Sneed, would you like to weigh in on any reduction?
People would just ask the court to maintain the bond so we can resolve these matters. If he's serious about drug court, then we certainly wouldn't object to that. So I think the bond should remain based upon his absconding, and he didn't turn himself in either, Judge. So thank you.
So, Mr. Murphy, I'm going to deny your request to reduce the bond in light of the fact that he absconded for almost a year, or about 10 months, and then now has received new charges of the same nature. I do feel, one, he's a flight risk, and two, he's driving, and evidently there was methamphetamine in his vehicle. So I think that he's at risk. We do have Darren Coast that can provide an assessment. So we may, I'll leave a note for Mr. Coast to assess him. And then if he doesn't post bond, he'll be on daily drops with Mr. Coast and so forth. But I'll have that assessment done, but I'm not going to address bond or reduce it at this point. So what I can do is, let's see, I can do May 15 or I could do April 24th.
Could we do May 15th, Your Honor, if that fits the court schedule?
Okay, I just didn't know if you wanted it sooner. Okay. All right, we'll see you back on May 15 at 8:30 in the morning. Sir, if your boss posts your bond, you need to report to the courthouse and ask for Darren Coast on the 3rd floor, because your bond conditions would be that you're required to test as he orders and whatever else he may require. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, I got Mr. Collins back. So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Darius Collins, file number 24-21767 Act H. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Collins and Isaac Sneed. So Ms. Underwood, have you had a chance to speak with Mr. Collins?
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Collins would be Ms. Berta.
Oh, I'm sorry. And it's Miss Berta. I'm sorry. You've been so quiet. You had your video off. I forgot all about you. So
that's all right.
and
I wasn't sure if he had a pretrial on one of his other cases. So
no. So I'm sorry. So I have Christie Berta appearing from the AG's office, CHRISTI, last name Berta, BURDA. And what is your P number for us, Miss Berta?
43149.
Thank you. Welcome. Appearing on behalf of the AG's office. So, Ms. Underwood, how would you like to proceed today with Mr. Collins?
Your Honor, I've spoken with Mr. Collins and the AG's office. I believe the offer in this case is that Mr. Collins could plead as charged in this matter, Your Honor, with jail time be determined as far as when he gets out. If he starts paying, if he's paying, he doesn't go to jail. Also, that a possible delay would be in order if Mr. Collins paid, I believe it's half, and a possible or attempt would be in order at that point. And if Mr. Collins was able to pay off the entire amount, Your Honor, that would be reduced to a disorderly.
I disagree with that characterization of the plea agreement. I tendered a plea offer that required him to pay money up front before a plea, which would then entitle him to a delay of sentence and possible reduction to an attempt or a disorderly.
Okay.
All right. So everybody hold on. Miss Underwood, just wait a minute, because I want to make sure I get this right. Miss Berta, what was the payment you were expecting up front?
He would have, the arrearage is currently $23,227.20. The bond is set at $5,500 cash bond, which is, as you can see, less than 25%. Initially, I suggested that if he, had bonded out, we would simply transfer the bond to front of the court. And if he didn't bond out, because I know he does have other cases as well, that he reduced the arrearage to $17,000, and then he could plead as charged with a delay of sentence. Neither of those terms have been met to entitle him to a delay of sentence. So at this point, I have nothing else to offer.
So what I will say is Mr. Collins has a preliminary exam and another hearing today, this afternoon. Is that correct, Miss Underwood?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
So I don't think Mr. Collins has the ability to pay because he's not able to get out and work at this time. Is that correct, Miss Underwood?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. So this is a pretrial. So because he can't get out, is there any objection to adjourning the pretrial out to next month to see what happens in district court with his new charge?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Well,
so
I know
Ms.
Mr.
Underwood,
Collins wants to resolve these issues, but all right, Your Honor.
well, if Mr. Collins wants to get out of jail, it looks like the AG was requiring him to post the $5,500 bond.
Yeah.
So if that gets posted, he'll be released on my case.
Okay.
But I don't, so if he posts that and he gets out, we'll be back May 15 at 8:30 in the morning. If he doesn't post it, we'll be back. So I don't know what
So
are the
that's
nature of the
May
charges
15th, Your Honor?
at 8:30 in the morning. What is the nature of the charges today in district court?
Mr. Collins has a 4-year drug charge and a larceny charge, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so I'll set a pretrial for May 15 at 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Collins, if you post that $5,500 bond, make sure you show up for that hearing. Otherwise, I'll see you back. Miss Underwood, in the event, there's some progress one way or the other, I can move that hearing up, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor, and I will do the stip in order with Ms. Berta's permission.
Thank you, Miss Underwood. Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you very much. All right. You're all set, Mr. Collins. Thank you.
Your Honor, while Ms. Berta is still here, do we by any chance have Mr. Terry?
Okay, I'll say, set this for May 10th.
No. So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Artrell DePriest Terry, file number, Mr. Goldstein, you want to go ahead and mute?
Make sure you.
Sorry, Your Honor.
It's okay. In the matter of Artrell, bye, ma'am.
Is this court downstairs?
Today at 2 o'clock downstairs, yeah. I'll tell you which court it's in. It's at 2 o'clock in Judge Shadler's. So when you walk in, it'll be the first courtroom on your left.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, versus Artrell DePriest Terry, file number 23-21472FH. I have, again, Miss Berta appearing on behalf of the AG's office, and I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Terry. This is the date and time set for pretrial. I do have a proof of service, a certificate of mailing from my staff, giving notice of today's hearing to all the parties to Mr. Terry's Detroit address. And I do have a motion affidavit and bench warrant that went out for failure to appear for the October 11 pretrial. He's not here, Miss Underwood.
I have no information as to his whereabouts. I'm not sure why we were scheduled again today, but
we always hope. So, so the bench warrant's already been issued. So, I'm not going to add a further date. We'll just see when we get him. He comes into town on occasion, so we'll probably pick him up.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to, who do I have in jail room number 3 again?
Nicholas Christie.
It's Christie.
that's mine, Your Honor.
Do you need a breakout room?
Just briefly, Your Honor. We spoke yesterday, but I've spoken to Mr. Moore.
All right, hold on. All right, so Mr. Christie, I'm going to assign you and Miss Underwood. And go ahead, join that breakout room. All right. That's Christie, Mr. Faiy, Michael Dagger-Margosian, you still with me? And then I'll be with you guys. And then you're next, Mr. Goldstein and Mr. Millar. Okay, so this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Timothy Charles Faiy, file number 23-21219FH. I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people, and I have Michael Dagger-Margosian appearing on behalf of Mr. Faiy. This is the date and time set for a pretrial. Mr. Millar, I do show there was a formal request for the preliminary exam transcript back on March 22nd. It was filed with the court on April 6th. You've received that, sir?
Your Honor, I'm on the case.
Mr. Dagger-Margosian, I'm sorry, you received it?
I have received it. Procedurally, we have filed a motion to quash, but Mr. Sneed and I, we do have a resolution in place, but if the court would recall, it requires that Mr. Faiy be removed off of probation on a separate case in a different county. We're still just waiting on that to happen. Once that does happen, we would be able to resolve it. I know that last time we were in court, we asked for the same thing. It just is taking a little longer than we expected.
He's not in jail. I'm not too worried about it as long as Mr. Sneed, you have no objection to an adjournment.
No, I do not, Judge. Thank you.
How far out do you want an adjournment, Mr. Dagger-Margosian?
Maybe 6 weeks.
Okay. About May 29th at 8:30 in the morning.
That's fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Faiy, I'm gonna set this out to May 29 at 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Dagger Margosian, can you prepare the stipend order to adjourn? And Mr. Sneed, can you sign your name with permission?
Yes, please.
I will prepare.
Excellent. Mr. Dagger Margosian, I do believe that concludes all your cases with me.
I think so too, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Good day.
All right, you're all set, Mr. Faiy. You can disconnect, all right?
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, real quick, Mr. Glazier,
Yes, Your Honor.
or Mr. Murphy, did somebody have Timothy Murphy?
I have Timothy Murphy.
Okay. All right, he's here, he's just not been connecting. All right, so Miss Underwood, let's go back to the people of the state of Michigan versus Nicholas Joseph Christie, file number 21-20194FH. That matter is a violation of probation pretrial hearing. Miss Underwood, how would you like to proceed on behalf of Mr. Christie?
Your Honor, I have spoken with Mr. Moore in this matter and Mr. Christie. There are two provisions in the violation, Your Honor. And one of them is a failure to report at an address situation. And the other is regarding some conflict in Toledo. Mr. Moore has agreed to dismiss that aspect of the violation. And Mr. Christie can plead guilty to the address and reporting violation, Your Honor. And Mr. Moore would then recommend a 6-month sentence with credit for all the time Mr. Christie has done, which I believe is some 3 or 4 months. We would have to figure that out, and discharge from probation at that point.
All right, so he's going to plead today to the second allegation. The first allegation will be dismissed. Will be set for sentencing next week, and there is a sentencing agreement you struck with Mr. Moore, so he'll memorialize that in the recommendation. Anything else?
Yes, I believe that's a correct recitation, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Christie, you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. State your full name for the record, please.
Nicholas Joseph Christie.
All right. So, Mr. Christie, we've been back a few times. You can put your hand down. You did receive a copy of the exact charges against you in the violation of probation, correct?
Yes.
And I would guess that you've had ample time to discuss that with Miss Underwood by this point, correct?
Yeah, we've talked a few times since I've been incarcerated.
Yep. And are you satisfied with her as your attorney and the advice that she's given to you?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Mr. Christie, is it your intention then today to plead guilty to the second allegation, which is you violated your terms of probation and that you were instructed to report to the Toledo, what is APA? What is APA in Toledo? Probation Department?
It's probation and parole department.
Okay. So you were supposed to report there on November 21 of 23 at 8:30. And a home visit was made where you were approved to live and you were not located and your whereabouts are unknown. So is it your intention to plead guilty to that violation of probation?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you understand that you have a right to contest the violation of probation charge and to have a trial on it?
I understand.
Do you understand that throughout the trial, you would be presumed innocent until your guilt is proven by a preponderance of the evidence? Do you understand that?
I understand that.
You have a right to have all the witnesses against you appear at your trial, to have your lawyer ask those witnesses questions, or you may ask them yourself, and to have me order any witnesses you might have to appear. Do you understand all of that?
I do.
You do not have to testify at your trial, and no one can say anything about you not testifying or hold it against you in any way. Do you understand all of that?
I understand.
On the other hand, do you understand that you have a right to testify at the trial if you want to testify?
I understand.
Okay, so how do you plead to the charge that you violated your articles of probation dated October 20 of 23, and that you were instructed to report to the Toledo APA office on November 21 of 23 at 8:30 in the morning? A home visit was made to your approved residence at 6122 CL in Toledo, and you were not located and your whereabouts are unknown. So how do you plead to that violation? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty. My residence was updated, and the probation officer did go to that new residence before this, but so I just don't think my new address was updated in file, but I didn't turn myself in like I was told to.
Okay, do you understand by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up your right to a hearing, as I've already explained to you?
I understand.
Is anything other than the plea agreement, well, there's a pretty set plea agreement on this case with the probation department. Has anyone threatened you in any way to get you to plead guilty or promised you anything other than on the record?
No,
All right, is it your own intention to plead guilty?
it is.
All right, so if I accept this plea, you understand you'll be giving up any and all claims that your plea is not given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea, and you understand that?
I understand.
All right, so Mr. Christie, you took a plea and your articles of probation were dated November 20 or October 20 of 23. And you transferred your probation to Lucas County in Ohio, correct?
Correct.
All right, and you were supposed to report on November 21 of 23, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you report on that day?
I did not. I got scared.
Okay.
And I didn't.
Okay, and then a home visit was done at a residence they had for 6122 Clover Lane, and you were there and your whereabouts were unknown, but you had actually moved residence, correct?
Correct.
All right, I accept the plea. It's been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. You have full knowledge of your rights. You have competent counsel. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a probation violation report. I'm going to set that for sentencing on April 19 at 8 a.m.
Judge,
And yes,
can I speak up for a second? I received an email from Mr. Moore, and he was under the assumption that if he pled guilty, 6 months jail, 102 days credit, no report, sentence immediately, probation discharged.
oh, all right, so I guess Mr. Christie, do you want to waive a pre-sentence report and be sentenced today and get it over with, or do you want to come back?
We could do it today.
All right, Ms. Underwood, anything you want to say on behalf of your client before the court passes sentence?
No, when I didn't see Mr. Moore here, I didn't know if we were going to be able to do that, so I didn't mention it, Your Honor. But
Yeah, so I will, he had sent me an email and asked me to handle this, and
that
he just said,
that
pretty much
is-
everything that has been covered in this,
Yep, that's fine, Your Honor. Mr. Christie understands he screwed up, and he just wants to get this taken care of and get out and do things appropriately, Your Honor.
Mr. Christie, anything you want to say on your own behalf?
No, I did want to mention that I did complete outpatient rehab. I did a year of the program, and I passed all my drug screens, and I was discharged in October successfully. I just wanted to bring that. That was a whole year.
That's wonderful. Wonderful, thank you. Miss Teskey, what was the credit, 103 days?
Your Honor, this is what I got from Mr. Moore. He said, the deal is to plead guilty to 6 months jail with credit for 102 days served.
Okay, all right, so it's a sentence of the court that you'll serve 6 months in Lenawee County Jail. I'll give you credit for 102 days you've already served, and I will revoke and terminate your probation. Anything else, Ms. Teskey?
No, Your Honor, that's it.
All right. So, Mr. Christie, you do have the right to appeal this sentence, and we're going to send over to the jail 3 copies of your notice of right to appellate review. We're going to have you initial and date 1 copy that comes back to our file to acknowledge you received the paperwork. The other copies are for you, and if you wish to appeal the sentence, you would fill out the.
Myself and then I.
You're not muted, Sarah.
Yeah. Like one day I was.
So, if you wish to appeal the sentence, you could fill out the information on the form and mail it back within 42 days. All right.
Okay.
All right, so good luck to you. Make sure you continue your path to sobriety when you get out of jail, all right?
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're all set. All right, I'm gonna get Miss, yes.
I believe that concludes my docket with you. Correct?
I don't know. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm gonna get Kenneth Armstrong. Hold on, Mr. Murphy, I saw your message.
Middle floor.
It's Judge Ann Sloan again.
Hi, ma'am.
I am ready for Kenneth Armstrong.
All right, ma'am, I will get it right to you.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Miss Underwood, yeah, I think that's all you have with me, so you're all set. All right,
Thank you.
Mr. Murphy, you have Nicholas Schmidt in your office. And Timothy. So, Mr. Glazier, your clients logged in. They
Yes.
just don't know how to connect to Zoom. So I'm going to remove them. I'm talking about Timothy Murphy. I'm going to remove him, and
Okay.
hopefully he'll just log back in again. We'll give him one more chance. But I know he's here. He's been trying.
All right.
Okay, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Nicholas Thomas Schmidt, file number 23-21502FH. I have Matt Murphy, Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of people, Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Schmidt. Mr. Schmidt is present in Mr. Murphy's office. So, Mr. Murphy, how would you like to proceed today with Mr. Schmidt?
Your Honor, we're going to ask for another pretrial, just briefly, 30 days or so. Mr. Sneed took over the file from Mr. Fleming. I had discussion with Mr. Sneed yesterday. I think it would be fruitful to have again another pretrial instead of setting a trial date on this one, because I think we may come to a solution.
Okay, I will set this for another pretrial on May 15th at 8:30 in the morning, and Mr. Murphy, you'll prepare the stip in order to adjourn, and Mr. Sneed, can you sign your name with permission?
Yes, please.
Marvelous. All right, Mr. Schmidt, I'll see you back May 15 at 8:30 in the morning, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, let's go through the docket. I got Armstrong. So, Mr. Glazier, the only matter I have other than Kenneth Armstrong is Timothy Murphy, who I am waiting to see if he'll call back in. As I said, I know that he was trying so hard to connect and he just wasn't able to. Have you been able to reach him by phone?
No, I haven't tried, Your Honor.
Do you want to try?
I can, Your Honor. I should just indicate that Mr. Murphy, I don't know if you remember him, he does have some extreme mental health issues. And we've been trying to get a forensic done, and they send notice to him and not to our office. And so he's responsible for getting himself up there. He calls our office all the time, seeing when it's set, and supposedly is calling up there to see when it's set, and it just never gets set. I was just trying to talk to Isaac, see if we can maybe resolve this thing in another way. But if you give me a few minutes, I'll talk to Mr. Sneed, and then I'll try calling Mr. Murphy.
Try Mr. Murphy. I'm going to try to get rid of Mr. Armstrong. Not rid of you, Mr. Armstrong. I was going to take Mr. Armstrong's case real quick. If you want to text back and forth or chat with
I wanna-
Isaac, but,
I'm gonna talk with Isaac and then I'll try Mr. Murphy.
okay, well, you can
Okay.
call Isaac. I'm not gonna open a breakout room now.
No, I was on the phone with him just then. All right.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. All right, so, Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Goldstein, are you with us or in another court?
I'm here, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Kenneth James Armstrong. I have file number 23-21474FH, 23-21475FH, 23-21476FH, 23-21477FH, 23-21478FH. On those files, Mr. Armstrong is represented by Dave Goldstein, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. On file number 23-21549FC, 23-21550FH, as well as the PPO file 23-50607 PP, Mr. Armstrong is represented by Mr. Malaro. So, Mr. Goldstein, Mr. Malaro, how would you like to proceed today on behalf of Mr. Armstrong?
Well, Your Honor, in my cases, two things that seem like they're contradictory, but they really aren't. One is that Mr. Sneed and I have an understanding with regard to our cases. And at least one or two of my files, because they've now been combined, are set for trial. The holdup, and this is not any indictment of Mr. Malaro, the holdup is Mr. Malaro's case, is the assault case, capital case. That's the case that's holding up a global resolution. So I don't think there's any interest on behalf of my client to resolve my cases and leave that other case sort of hanging out there. So unless something happens with the assault case, and that's, I think, Mr. McCready, Mr. Sneed and I are going to trial.
All right, Mr. Sneed, is Mr. McCready available? You're muted, Mr. Sneed.
Right, I'm covering for Mr. McCready this morning, Your Honor.
Mr. McCready logged on a little bit earlier. Is he able to log on and perhaps we can have a bench conference and talk about everything? I don't know where he is right now.
Watching because he messaged me earlier.
He's evidently watching on YouTube because he's texting Mr. Malaro. So, Mr. Malaro, on your files.
Yes.
Has there been a discussion or a resolution?
Discussion about resolutions took place, Your Honor.
But no resolution.
But no resolution.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Goldstein, are you available to hang out for a minute and see if we can get Mr. McCready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could I speak to Malaro and Goldstein? Breakout meeting, why you do that, Your Honor?
Mr. Sneed, were you able to locate Mr. McCready?
I thought he was texting with Sam.
I messaged him, but he hasn't responded.
He hasn't responded, so.
I'll go hold.
Oh, he just logged right off. Okay. All right, so, Mr. Goldstein, do you want to go on back, Sam, and log
He
on?
says he's in a meeting, Mr. McCready says he's in a meeting.
When will you be done?
11. I could go do Mr. Olsaver or Judge Olsaver.
All right, so,
I can come back at 11, Your Honor. It's not a problem.
you can,
Yes.
let me see what I got. I don't have anything at 11. So why don't we set this for a bench conference and pretrial? We'll set it over 15 minutes and come back at 11. And then Mr. Goldstein will be here. Do you want a breakout room with Mr. Armstrong right now, Mr. Goldstein?
It's okay with me, Your Honor, but I think he wants Sam is involved in it also.
Right, so if you wanna,
Back to it.
well, I'm gonna actually leave the courtroom probably, well, no, actually, do you wanna go in back and?
Yeah.
All right, so Mr. Malaro is gonna go in back and then I'll give you that chance and we can have a discussion, and then when we get Mr. McCready back, we can come back at 11. All right, so.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.